All right, guys, what's up? Greg here. Here's a quick video on a handful of records I picked up in the last couple weeks. And yeah, we're going to get into it. I'll tell you what we're listening to in a second, which is this record, which you've never heard of, probably. But I'll get into it. Don't worry. Here, can I put it back here for you? Okay. All right. You know, I was going to make a video about the giant train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, because that whole thing was about vinyl, okay? 125,000 gallons of vinyl chloride released, dumped on this tiny little town, and then instead of letting it soak into the soil, they just lit it on fire and kaboom. I want to do a video on that. I'll just say a few words and then we'll get on to some records, but the creation of our wonderful vinyl records is extremely toxic and hazardous. The records, once they're created, once vinyl chloride gas is turned into vinyl records, it's not really hazardous, but that gas, that vinyl chloride gas, extremely carcinogenic, extremely dangerous, can kill you, can cause cancer, can cause all kinds of diseases, and the precursors to making it are dangerous. So anyway, the point is, making vinyl is dangerous. The people who have to make it are putting themselves at risk. The people who have to live in towns where it's being transported through are putting themselves at risk. Vinyl, as we know it, polyvinyl chloride, one of the most abundant plastics in the universe. I mean, they make zillions of tons of it every year, and a tiny, tiny percentage of that goes to making our beloved vinyl records. But you still have to ask yourself, you know, is this a sustainable hobby when you realize how difficult and toxic it is to make our beloved vinyl records? Okay, maybe I'll do a video in depth on that at some point. And you guys don't want to hear any negativity, right? Let's just be positive. I tend to go negative with these little stories. It is a shame what is happening to the folks in East Palestine, Ohio. And it's a shame how, let's not get into it, okay? Let's just get into some records. Let's get into some beautiful vinyl records made out of beautiful vinyl chloride carcinogenic gas. Okay, here's a record my lovely, beautiful wife gave me for Valentine's Day a couple weeks ago. Ronnie Foster. He is a organ player, jazz organ. This is a re-release from Blue Note Classic Series, so that means it came out in the 70s. I don't know what year, 71, I think. And Ronnie Foster is somebody that's kind of been under the radar. He's very influenced by Dr. Lonnie Smith, who just passed away. So it's jazz, but there's also a fair amount of funk and soul into it. And this was a record that was kind of on my want list because I had heard good things about it. I had listened to a few seconds of it and thought, yeah, I'll throw that on my want list. And then I was really surprised that it showed up under the Valentine's Day tree from my lovely wife, and really enjoyed listening to this with the whole family. Unlike this weird record that my family probably doesn't want to hear. Records like this got a real good positive reaction from the whole family. The record title, you can barely see the typography on here. Ronnie Foster, Two-Headed Freep. Freep? I think freep is like slang for a combination of a freak and a creep, maybe. It's some kind of slang it's not good to be called a freep, but hip 70s glasses, love it. So Ronnie Foster, still with us in his 70s. I think he has a new record coming out. Looking forward to learning more about this guy. If you guys know anything about him, other than what I can read on Wikipedia, let me know. Side 2, Let's Stay Together, Al Green tune, okay? A funky, soulful version. Very nice version, but the rest are originals. And for the most part, I know there's a Wilson Pickett tune. I can't read this font. This font is too small for old people like me. Okay, this is the new jazz record. Now I'm going to go into something about a collection of very weird records. My wife showed me a postcard from our local record store saying that they had gotten in a big collection of very weird stuff. Avant-garde, 20th century composers, free jazz, experimental, electronic, kind of stuff that I love. Weird stuff for weird people. So I went down there and I grabbed handfuls of records. I'm like, I can't afford all these. I ended up getting 4 or 5 or 6. And this is one of them. And actually, this is one of my favorites of the batch. So this guy had like a lot of recordings of this tune by Paul Hindemith. Paul Hindemith is a 20th century composer known for serialism, 12-tonism. This piece called Ludus Tonalis is actually based on, loosely influenced, let's say inspired by, Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier, which is, I think, I want to say 24 pieces of music. One bit in every key, all 12 major keys, all 12 minor keys. That's what Bach did for Suite for the Well-Tempered Clavier. So this is a similarly inspired thing from Paul Hindemith. And let's see. Anyway, there are parts of this that I like that are very contrapuntal, even though Paul Hindemith wasn't really known for that. This collector had he had really deep sections of a lot of weird composers. Weird, unusual. Like most people who like classical music don't have 15 Paul Hindemith records. So this guy had several Paul Hindemith. And I got okay, I got it because it was one of the cheapest ones. Okay, $4. Okay, what else? Another composer I've had my eye out for, you don't see his stuff very often, is Scriabin. I think you pronounce it Scriabin. Alexander Scriabin. I think, is he French? Did you do any preparation for this video at all, Greg? Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago, and then I got around to not making it. Let me get out the Scriabin. This is the complete Scriabin, the complete. And Scriabin, don't just hold on. I'll tell you who he is. He was one of the greatest composers of the 20th century, born in Moscow on Christmas Day, 1872. And he died on Good Friday. Well, if he was a Catholic, that doesn't sound like a good deal. Firmly rooted in the past with strange visions of things to come. A mixture of styles, textures, techniques, and philosophies. Okay, so he's Russian, not French. And he's most closely associated with Chopin. Chopin, he's French. Uh-oh, shit, I just split the crap out of the back. Oh, Jesus. Look how split that is. And oh, man. Big ugly split in the back. Maybe it was already pre-split. I don't know. Okay, Scriabin. Scriabin. How do you pronounce it? The complete piano sonatas. Pretty much most of his work is piano music. And this is on the Nonesuch label. If you remember, the Nonesuch label did a lot of interesting oddball classical and electronic music back in the day. So Scriabin, interesting. A piece on here called Black Mass. That sounded interesting. This album was a reissue of a Historic Connoisseur Society recording, which I didn't realize when I bought it. Made in, when was it originally? 1970, and then re-released by Nonesuch in 1984. Yada, yada, yada. So, similar, I would say similar to Chopin and Debussy. And if you took those two guys and mixed them and mashed them together with some Moscow and some Russian vodka, you'd get Scriabin. So, 3-disc set for $9.99. Good deal. Okay, what else? Hang on. Just hang on. Another composer I've always had my eye out for, you don't see his stuff very often, is Penderecki. Is that how you pronounce it? Penderecki. Polish guy. And this record is on Melodia, the Russian label, which means it's all in Russian. This record was recorded by Russians. Can't read it, the name of the symphony orchestra. But Penderecki, also modern composer. A lot of composers, you know, Russia and Europe, early part of the 20th century, end up doing a lot of dark themes in their music, like the Holocaust comes up a lot in war, Holocaust, genocide, you know, fun stuff like that. So this is one of those very sad pieces. It's a concerto for violin and orchestra, and also Symphony Number 2, I guess, is squeezed on here. So sad violin music. I listened to it briefly, but Penderecki has more famous pieces than this. Krzysztof Penderecki. There you go. Ah, here we go. Somebody I really have my eye out for, looking for his stuff, is Morton Subotnick. Morton Subotnick turns 90 in just a couple of months, maybe less than 2 months. And I would like to do some kind of tribute to him on my channel. Haven't figured out what that is yet. Morton Subotnick, you think of with the Moog synthesizer, but no, he didn't play the Moog. He played the Buchla, which was the, there it is, the Buchla, which is a competitor to the Moog. Oh, there it is in the front too. Giant synthesizer. So anyway, Morton Subotnick, this is called Until Spring, created on the Electric Music Box. And I love these modern composers that do these weird, I don't know what that is, but it's weird and interesting. I can't even read it because it's too small. Anyway, this is on, is this on Columbia? Yeah, this is on Columbia. Most of his more famous pieces are on None Such, but this is a very rhythmical, I should say percussion-y. There's not as many weird sounds of the, it's more like, does that sound good? Does that sound like a vocal synthesizer? It's very percussion-y and rhythmic music. How's that? Morton Subotnick. I'm over here. I'll be back. Chill out. Okay, I ended up with 2 pieces of music, kind of unintentionally, but I had my eye out for some of the interesting Japanese composers. He had a lot of stuff by the Japanese guys. Toshiro Mayuzumi. 2 records by Mayuzumi. This one is called Symphonies, Nirvana and Mandala. The Nirvana Symphony and the Mandala Symphony. And so far my impression of this is it's kind of very dirgy, slow, depressing. I think it was also inspired by something horrible like World War II or forgive me. I'm not going to read all the liner notes while I sit here, but I'll take a peek. Okay. Buddhism, I don't know. Nirvana. This one actually I like more than that one. Bacchanal and Phonologie Symphonique. This one sounds more like sort of modern, like Shostakovich, Prokofiev, sort of big, bombastic, symphonic, a lot of big stuff going on. Mayuzumi, born 1929 in Japan, etc., etc., etc. There's a whole series of records by, I think, Japanese composers. I think I have at least one of these. Can't read it, too small. Okay, I'm gonna throw in something else here. I ended up buying some other strange 20th century stuff a couple weeks before at the Goodwill, and I already did a video showing some of this, but you can never have too much. Olivier Messiaen, French dude, Turangalila Symphony. Turangalila means something about love and life, and that's what I used, the love symbol. Remember that symbol from the 70s? T-shirts, coffee mugs. This is a cool record to find at the Goodwill for sure. 2-record set. Massively interesting piece of music. And Takemitsu, another Japanese guy, probably the most famous Japanese 20th century composer, Toru Takemitsu. And this is all conducted by Japanese Seiji Ozawa, pretty famous guy from, well, this is with Toronto. Okay, guys, I got other stuff laying around here. I listened to this the other day. This is a Goodwill pick from months ago, which I've already shown you. Ryo Kawasaki, Juice. And he is a guitar player? I think he's a guitar player. I think he passed away already. Lead guitar and string synthesizer by Ryo Kawasaki. Rhythm guitar by Hugh McCracken. Do we have any Hugh McCracken fans out there? And other people that I haven't heard of. Percussion by Muhammad Abdullah. Maybe I know who that is. Anyway, very sort of funky 70s, maybe 80s, fusiony funky. A little Return to Forever-y with a little more funk in it. And is that enough for today? I mean, you know, this place is full of all kinds of records and surprises and messes, and I think that's enough rambling today, guys. Let me know what's happening with you guys. Greg, your channel continues to suck because you keep talking about weird records that nobody cares about, like 20th century composers that no one's ever heard of. Why don't you just go talk about the Beatles and Pink Floyd, and your channel would be a lot more popular? Well, I don't know. I just talk about what is going on in my life, and that's what's going on. Weird records from weird composers, classical, jazz, avant-garde, avant-strange. I will say this. A lot of YouTube creators, am I a creator? Am I a creation? Well, wearing a pretentious scarf. A lot of people have reported that their channels have done poorly in terms of views. And I think YouTube is really taking a stance towards going for shorts as opposed to long form videos. This video is already 17 minutes. It's very long. It's too long. But I have found by promoting shorts instead of long form videos, I've gotten a lot of views. I have another channel with a lot of, controversial information and news stories and politics that recently surpassed 1 million views. It's called The Truth Serum. You don't have to watch it. I'm just telling you about shorts. I've done almost exclusively shorts on that channel. One short got 600,000 views in a couple of weeks. It's just a news story about a shark. It's like, it was just a clip that I thought was interesting. I just threw it up there, and lo and behold, it got 600,000 views. My Vinyl Rundown channel has only got 400,000 views in total in 3 or 4 years. And this other little channel, I put up, you know, a dozen shorts, and they all get 1,000 to 2,000 video views a day, and then the good ones will get tens of thousands of views. So my advice and my direction is we got to start going with shorts more than long form video. Okay, guys? So if you see a lot of shorts from me, I won't be doing any TikTok dances. I'll just be showing records. And that's it for today, guys. Sorry to keep you so long, but that's it. There's some Hindemith for you.